I know something is wrong the second I step through my parents' front door. The air feels charged, like the pause before a storm. Mom's smile is too wide as she takes my coat. Dad's handshake lingers a second too long, grip a little too firm. Across the foyer, my sister Autumn practically vibrates, eyes flicking between them with the conspiratorial gleam I've known since she was old enough to hide prank whoopee cushions under my chair. "Sierra, honey, so glad you made it." Mom's hand presses insistently at the small of my back, steering me toward the dining room. The table is immaculate. Best china, crystal glasses that only appear on holidays, fresh flowers arranged with magazine precision. Whatever this is, it's been staged. I sit in my usual spot across from Autumn, whose smile is the same one she wore at 8, knowing I was about to sit on her trap. Dad carves roast beef with exaggerated care while Mom ladles mashed potatoes, green beans, and the Parker house rolls I've loved since childhood. That's when I see it. A manila folder tucked beside Dad's plate, its corner just visible under his napkin. My stomach tightens. "How's the clinic?" Mom asks, voice too bright. "Still working those crazy hours?" "Business is good," I say lightly, watching Dad's eyes flick to the folder. "Our patient load is up 20% this quarter." Autumn snorts. "All those patients in such a tiny waiting room. Someone should really upgrade your office management." The puzzle pieces snap into place, forming a picture I don't want to see. Dad clears his throat, sets his fork down with a deliberate clink. "Sierra, we've been thinking about the future of your clinic." The bite of roast in my mouth turns to dust. "Family businesses need family management," Mom adds smoothly, as if they rehearsed this. "Your father and I have talked a lot about how to keep healing hands in the family." "It's not a family business," I say carefully. "I built it myself. With our support," Dad counters, reaching for the folder. "And now Autumn has an excellent proposal that will benefit everyone." Autumn straightens, preening. "I've drafted a business plan to come on as your practice manager. I'd handle all the boring paperwork so you can focus on patients." Her eyes gleam. "I just take a 25% profit share, which is honestly reasonable with the growth I'll bring." My pulse thunders in my ears. This isn't dinner. It's an ambush. Memories rise unbidden. Double shifts in the hospital cafeteria during PT school, sending money home to help Autumn through freshman year while I ate ramen in a one-room apartment furnished with curbside rescues. Falling asleep over anatomy textbooks after 14-hour clinical rotations. The $187,000 in student loans that still siphon my checking account every month. "I already have a clinic manager," I say, surprised at my even tone. Mom waves a hand. "But Autumn's the people person. Remember how she charmed Dr. Wilson at your clinic opening? He barely noticed you." I remember. Just like I remember Dad dismissing my academic honors. "Book smarts don't build practices, Sierra," he'd said, while posing Autumn in my cap and gown for photos. I remember last summer when Autumn helped out at the front desk. How her unauthorized discounts to sorority sisters, bungled schedules, and ignored paperwork left patients waiting for hours or turned away altogether. "May I see what you've prepared?" I nod toward the folder. Dad slides it across with a satisfied smile. "My attorney has already drawn everything up. It just needs your signature." "I can start tomorrow," Autumn says, clapping her hands. "I already have ideas for redecorating your office." I take a slow sip of water, set the glass precisely on its coaster. Then, without rushing, I reach for my own briefcase beside my chair. "Before we talk about your plan," I say, "there's something you should see." Silence thickens over the table. I click open the locks on my briefcase. The sharp sound makes Dad flinch. His smile falters as I pull out my leather portfolio. The one I bought after landing the Denver sports medicine contract. A small indulgence to mark a big win. "What's this?" Dad asks, a faint tremor in his voice. Mom's fingers worry her napkin. Autumn's triumphant grin wilts at the edges as I lay out my documents with the same careful precision I use for treatment plans. 3 weeks ago," I say, tapping the top page, "I signed a management services agreement with Colorado Healthcare Partners. They now handle all administrative operations for healing hands." Dad schemes the letterhead, frown deepening. "You can't make decisions like this without consulting family." "Actually, I can." I slide another page to him. Section 4.3 is highlighted for you. No family members may be employed in management positions without unanimous board approval. The board is me and 2 SHP partners. Color rises in Autumn's cheeks. You did this on purpose. I made a business decision, I say, holding her gaze, based on past experience. From the portfolio, I pull a fat folder of patient complaint forms, organized by date. I don't have to open it, the thickness is enough. These are from your stint at the front desk, I tell her. 15 scheduling errors that double-booked rooms. 23 unauthorized discounts. 8 to your sorority sisters. 31 billing code mistakes that almost triggered an insurance audit. Mom reaches toward me, stops just shy of touching my hand. Sierra, honey, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. These weren't learning errors. I push back my chair and stand. From this angle, their rehearsed certainty looks smaller. They were careless choices from someone who doesn't think rules apply to her. I pull out one more document, the accountant's report I commissioned last month. This, I say, placing it in front of Dad, itemizes $42,000 in free care I've provided to this family over the past 3 years. Your rotator cuff rehab. Mom's plantar fasciitis. Autumn's sports massages before her beach trips. Silence slams down. Shock ripples across their faces, cracking their entitlement. While I covered your health care, I continue, I was eating ramen to afford my loan payments. I worked double cafeteria shifts to help fund Autumn's freshman year after you told me you couldn't afford both our educations. I slept on treatment tables when I couldn't cover rent and malpractice insurance. My phone buzzes. A text preview appears. From my clinic manager. Did you tell them yet? The timing steadies me. My staff saw the chaos Autumn left behind, stayed late to fix her mistakes, believed in the clinic even when my family didn't. They know who really holds this place together. Dr. Winters warned me years ago that family and business don't mix. I say, remembering my mentor finding me crying in the supply closet when Dad skipped my clinic's grand opening. I should have listened sooner. I gather the documents and slide them back into my portfolio in exact order. The ritual soothes me. We can negotiate, Dad says quickly, sensing the deal slipping. 20% instead of 25%. A trial period. My clinic isn't your piggy bank, I answer, snapping the portfolio shut. It's my career. Mom's hand leaps to her throat. I never thought you'd put business before family. In your version of family, I say, my success is just a resource for you to use. I'm not choosing business over family. I'm choosing boundaries over exploitation. Autumn shoves her chair back. You've always been so dramatic, Sierra. Acting like you did everything alone when we've always supported you. Supported me? I arch a brow. You mean when Dad took pictures of you in my graduation cap while I held my diploma? Or when Mom told Dr. Wilson I was just the medical person at my own clinic opening? Images flash like snapshots. My 12th birthday card versus Autumn's new bike. My empty valedictorian ceremony because Autumn had a cold. The times they showed up late or not at all. Your support, I say quietly, has always been missing when it mattered. Dad rises too, but his old physical advantage is gone. You've changed. Success has made you cold. Success has made me visible, I reply. You don't know what to do with a daughter you can't ignore. I lift my briefcase. Feels strangely light. At the end of this month, I add, pausing at the doorway, family treatments will be billed at standard rates. Our charity program is for patients who genuinely can't pay, not relatives who don't want to. Behind me, Mom gasps. Dad mutters something under his breath. Autumn's sobbing ratchets up a notch. For once, none of it hooks into me. I walk out into the evening air. My phone buzzes again. We're all here for you, the message reads. This time I believe it. That night sleep won't come. Instead, memories spool backward. I'm 12 in April. My birthday lands on a Tuesday, marked only by a math test I ace and a single card propped by my cereal bowl. 2 weeks later, Autumn turns 10 and unveils a gleaming teal bicycle in the driveway. Streamers flutter from the handlebars, a wicker basket waits for treasures. Our parents clap as she wobbles in circles. Sierra, take a picture of your sister, Dad calls, tossing me his camera. This is a milestone. I frame the shot, catching Autumn's delighted face and Dad's steadying hand. Mom waves a handkerchief like she's seeing off royalty. Later, while we wash dishes, I venture. Remember when I got my first bike? Mom pauses, sponge in midair. You were a practical child, Sierra. You always wanted books instead. I hadn't. For 3 years, I'd circled bicycles in holiday catalogs until the pages went soft. High school graduation brings honor cords and a valedictorian sash. The auditorium buzzes with proud parents clutching flowers. Mine slip into the back row 7 minutes after my speech, empty-handed. Traffic was terrible, Mom whispers afterward. But we're here for Autumn's dance recital tonight. You're coming, right? College is the same rhythm. My dean's list certificates arrive at their house while I sling trays in the hospital cafeteria. The envelopes sit unopened on the kitchen counter for weeks. At PT school graduation, I stand alone outside the auditorium until Autumn appears, waving. There you are. She plucks my mortarboard from my hands. Dad wants shots of me in this. You don't mind, right? For 20 minutes, my parents photograph her in my cap while my honors cords and diploma wait at my side. Book smarts don't build practices, Dad says later, handing the cap back without looking at me. Years blur into late nights and red numbers. 4 years after graduation, I'm hunched over my laptop at midnight in the darkened clinic, loan totals glaring. $187,000 still owed. Monthly payments bigger than my rent. I've just transferred $1,200 to Autumn for another temporary housing crisis after her 4th job change. My own apartment holds a wobbly coffee table. A couch that smells faintly of strangers no matter how much I clean. At the bank that morning, the manager's words were polite but firm. Without a cosigner or more collateral, Miss Bennett, we can't approve this expansion loan. I'd nodded, folded the rejection into my bag beside 2 others, and said nothing about my parents' refusal to cosign. Just weeks after buying Autumn a brand new car. That night, the treatment table becomes my bed. I curl on the crackling paper, wrapped in a spare blanket after 16 hours of back-to-back patients followed by insurance paperwork. The cleaning crew finds me at 5 a.m., still clutching spreadsheets. 6 months later, when Healing Hands finally opens in its own modest suite, not just a rented room inside another practice, my parents visit between Autumn's bridal shower and dinner reservations. It's nice, Mom says, glancing at her watch. Like a real doctor's office. Dad eyes my degree on the wall. Just remember it's about people, not diplomas. They leave before the ribbon cutting and champagne toast. The summer Autumn helps at the front desk nearly tanks everything. Her friends receive unapproved discounts. Longtime patients arrive to find their appointments mysteriously moved or deleted. Insurance forms pile up untouched in drawers. They were boring, she shrugs when I confront her. Besides, they're just old people with Medicare. It's not like they're busy. I spend weeks making apologetic phone calls, rebuilding trust one person at a time. The turning point comes during a tense meeting with a Blue Shield representative. She's rejected 3 rounds of my claims. Ms. Bennett, your documentation just doesn't meet. I slide a thick folder toward her. These are revised protocols I created from your latest manual. Every treatment code is cross-referenced. She flips through the annotated pages, eyebrows lifting. You did this yourself? Every night for 3 weeks, I say. Most providers just argue or give up. 3 days later, our entire backlog is approved. Word spreads among physicians that our documentation is bulletproof. Referrals tick upward. 2 years in, I stare at my accounting software late one night and realize for the first time we've turned a genuine profit. I triple-check the numbers sitting in the dark reception area, then allow myself a shaky smile. No one is there to celebrate, and somehow that makes the moment feel even more mine. I start to understand. Being overlooked has become an advantage. While my family lavished attention on Autumn's charm, I learned to grind in the shadows. Persistence, precision, and problem-solving, skills I honed alone, now form the backbone of my business. Ellie Morgan, my clinic manager, proves it when she tears up a generous hospital job offer. They don't value people like you do, she tells me. I've been in healthcare 30 years, Sierra. What you're building is special. When Autumn's scheduling disasters hit, my staff stays late voluntarily, ordering pizza and tackling the mess together. We've got this, says Carlos, my lead therapist, at midnight. You're sisters. Interesting. But we're a team. Every Friday, our staff meeting starts with everyone sharing a challenge and a win. From therapists to cleaning crew. Every voice counts. It's nothing like family gatherings where my words always seem to bounce off walls. One ordinary Tuesday, the medical director from Denver Rehabilitation Center calls. "We've been watching your outcomes," she says without preamble. "Our ortho department wants to talk specialized partnership." That night, 9 of us gather in the clinic after hours, not for damage control but for celebration. Plastic cups and grocery store cake. Laughter echoing through rooms I once cleaned alone. "To Sierra," Ellie says, raising her cup, "who saw possibilities where everyone else saw limits." In the quiet after they go, I lift my first business license from its frame, trace the embossed seal. Tomorrow it will hang in our expanded lobby. Evidence that the foundation I laid in the dark is now holding up something real. 6 weeks after the Sunday dinner showdown, my corner office overlooks the Denver skyline. I've angled my desk so I face the treatment floor, not the view. Through the glass wall, Meredith coaxes Mrs. Hoffman through post-stroke exercises, voice gently firm. Watching her, I feel a familiar swell of pride. They get it, what healing really means. My own office is small. A second-hand desk, a plain chair. The splurge is outside, cutting-edge equipment, spacious treatment rooms. Patients get the resources. I've learned I can work just fine with less. On my wall hangs the original Healing Hands sign, salvaged when we expanded from 3 treatment rooms to 15. From one therapist to a team of 15. My phone vibrates again. "Mom." For the 3rd time today. I silence it without reading the message. I know the pattern by heart now. Guilt about not seeing me, veiled questions about clinic revenue, subtle mentions of Autumn's job troubles. The calls intensified after I declined 6 straight Sunday dinners. "Dad has tried business talk. Have you considered senior discounts?" As if he sits on my board. Last week he even contacted my accountant. Luckily, I'd already warned her. Yesterday's stunt was their boldest yet. Autumn marching into the clinic at peak hours, folder of marketing ideas in hand, declaring she just needed an office to implement them. Mark, my front desk manager, followed protocol, offered her a seat in the waiting room and paged me. I didn't leave my patient. Now sunlight warms my face as I open the email draft I've been writing, deleting, rewriting for days. The words are spare, deliberate. To my family. As I've said, after careful consideration, I'm establishing formal professional boundaries regarding Healing Hands therapy. The clinic is closed to family employment and management input. All treatment services will be billed at standard rates. Business discussions are limited to my management team. I remain open to rebuilding a personal relationship, separate from my professional life. Sierra, my finger hovers over send when my office door opens. Carol, my clinic manager, steps in with 2 mugs. "Thought you could use reinforcements," she says, setting a coffee beside my laptop. "I saw the social media post." I lift an eyebrow. She slides her phone over. On the screen, my mother's Facebook profile beams. The photo is from my clinic's opening. Mom hugging me, both of us smiling. Back then I'd mistaken it for pride. Now I see the performance. So proud of my daughter Sierra's vision with Healing Hands therapy. The caption reads, "We've always believed in her healing touch." #ProudMama #family_business, posted 20 minutes ago. The hashtag is interesting, Carol says mildly. Family business. I repeat, the words sour in my mouth. I hit send on my email. "They've never paid a cent toward this clinic," I say. "Never worked a shift. Never believed in it until it took off." "People are starting to notice," Carol says. Dr. Reynolds mentioned it last week when he sent over that complex shoulder case. I look up, surprised. "Said he refers here because you built this from scratch," she adds, tapping my framed license. "Because you give the credit to your team instead of your family legacy." I pull up another email. "The scholarship fund was approved," I say. "We'll sponsor 2 PT students with real financial need next semester." Carol smiles. "Your mom called that wasteful charity when she overheard us, remember?" "Exactly why it matters," I say, standing to stretch my back. "Any word from Denise about their latest attempt?" "Your dad tried charm then intimidation," she says dryly. Once she mentioned potential harassment. He backed off. She hesitates. There's something else. From her pocket, she pulls a small envelope. My name is written on it in my mother's curled script. She dropped it off at lunch, Carol explains. I told her you were at the Children's Hospital clinic. She left that. Inside, tear-blotted paper pleads about misunderstandings and missing my daughter. The final line suggests a family meeting to heal old wounds. At their house on their terms. My phone dings. A text from Autumn. Miss you, big sis. Can we talk? Just us? Carol watches my face. Your father's letter came yesterday too, she says. Suggested family mediation with his attorney present. I let out a humorless laugh. For years I chased their approval. Now they're scrambling to manage optics. Friends are asking questions. Their narrative has cracks. Past the glass wall, 2 therapists I hired out of residency. Both from rough backgrounds, coach patients through exercises with a gentleness that makes my chest ache with pride. What are you going to tell them? Carol asks. I tuck Mom's note into a drawer already labeled family, documents. Each email, text, and letter filed neatly, not as ammunition but as record. When they're ready for a relationship that doesn't hinge on my clinic, I say, closing the drawer, I'll listen. Until then, my priority is what's happening beyond my office door. In the waiting room, I spot a familiar face. One of Autumn's sorority sisters. Last year, she argued loudly about friends and family discounts. Today, she sits quietly, insurance card in hand, respect in her posture. The facade is crumbling. Slowly but surely. 2 weeks later, morning light slants through the windows of Cornerstone Cafe. As I slide into a corner table 20 minutes early, I choose the seat with a clear view of the entrance and both exits. A habit born more from emotional vigilance than physical fear. My leather portfolio rests in front of me, its weight reassuring. Inside is everything: screenshots, printouts, spreadsheets. Not a weapon exactly. A map. Can I get you anything while you wait? The barista asks, pen ready. Black coffee, I say. Thanks. The mug arrives, steam curling into the air. I wrap my hands around the warmth and focus on my breathing. Through the glass, I see them crossing the parking lot. Dad in a golf polo, shoulders squared. Mom fussing with her pearl necklace. Autumn in heeled boots, her stride confident, her eyes darting. They've coordinated outfits in soft creams and tans. A united front. The bell over the door chimes. Their expressions shift when they see me. Dad's jaw tightens. Mom's smile freezes. Autumn's gaze drops to the portfolio. Sierra, Joni. Mom leans in, aiming for a hug. I stay seated. She ends up patting my shoulder instead. This is cozy, Dad says, settling opposite me. Family matters should really be discussed at home though. This isn't just family, I say, tapping the portfolio. This is about my business. Autumn slides in beside him, perfume clouding the air. We brought muffins from that bakery you like, she says, pushing a bag toward me. I don't touch it. The waitress takes their drink orders and leaves. As soon as she's gone, Dad leans forward. Blood is thicker than water, he begins, using that low, warning tone I remember from missed curfews. Families stand together, especially in business. Mom reaches to squeeze my wrist. We've always been proud of you, sweetie. We tell everyone about our brilliant daughter, the doctor. Physical therapist, I correct. Doctor of physical therapy, Autumn chimes in accurately, then launches into her pitch. I thought about last time. I came on too strong. She pulls a tablet from her bag. So I've drafted a new proposal. Consultant instead of manager. 3 days a week. I boost your socials, court corporate clients. I sip my coffee, let the bitterness anchor me. Before we talk about any proposals, I say, let me share something. They stiffen almost imperceptibly. The Hendersons asked me a question at their anniversary party. I continue. They congratulated me on the family partnership and wondered when you all became co-owners. I open the portfolio and reveal neatly printed pages. They seemed surprised when I said you weren't part of my practice. We never said, Dad starts. I slide several screenshots across the table. Your Facebook posts, I say quietly, referring to Healing Hands as our clinic and the family practice. Text from the Wilsons asking about the family business mom mentioned at bridge. Mom's complexion fades. Sierra, it's just expressions of pride. Is it? I pull another paper free. This is Dr. Reynolds' email. Wondering why you contacted him about partnership opportunities for my clinic. The hiss of the espresso machine and murmur of nearby conversations fill the space between us. You've been spying on us. Autumn says, hurt and accusation braided together. I've been paying attention, I answer. The same way I paid attention to your friends and family freebies. Dad regroups. We're drifting off topic. We're here to discuss a role for Autumn. Autumn will have no role in my clinic, I say. The words land with a thud. Neither will you or Mom. Mom's eyes fill. After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done? I pull out a spreadsheet and lay it flat. Here are 3 years of free treatments. $42,735 worth. Here are the loans I gave Autumn in my first 2 years of practice when I was choosing between rent and groceries. $16,450. None of it repaid. Autumn recoils. You said those were gifts. I said we'd sort it out later. I meet her eyes. It's later. Dad's professional veneer splits. You can't seriously demand repayment after all After all you've what? I cut in softly. Missed my doctoral hooding because of Autumn's sorority fundraiser? Told Dr. Wilson I was playing at business until I found a husband? Rolled your eyes at my clinic opening like it was just another job. I flatten my palms on the table. These are my terms, I say. For any future relationship. I count them off not for their sake but mine. 1. My business decisions are mine. No suggestions. No backchannel talks with my colleagues. 2. Family treatment is billed like anyone else's. 3. You stop calling yourselves partners or owners in something you didn't build. Real tears spill over Mom's lower lashes now. You can't mean that. We're family. Family respects boundaries, I say. Family claps when you succeed instead of reaching for a slice. Dad's mouth twists. This is ridiculous. We never thought you'd actually pull this off on your own. We were trying to secure your future. The admission lands heavy. Years of late nights, sacrifice, discipline. And they never believed I could do it unless they were steering. Autumn's mask crumbles, bitterness pouring through the cracks. It's not fair, she snaps. You get everything. The respect, the title, the business. I'm stuck in a cubicle while you play hero in your little clinic. What about me? There it is. The raw resentment that's been humming underneath all along. I close my portfolio with a soft snap and stand. I built this while helping prop up this family emotionally and financially. I say. I'm not playing at anything. And I'm done being invisible. I leave money for my coffee on the table and turn away. Behind me I hear Mom's choked sob, Dad's harsh whisper, a chair scraping back. I don't look. For the first time I walk out without checking over my shoulder for their approval. With every step, the weight of their expectations slides off. Outside the sun is bright. I stand up a little straighter. A year later I stand at the picture window of our expanded clinic, watching late afternoon lights spill over the Denver skyline. The view feels like a metaphor, wide open, bright, hard-earned. Dr. Bennett? Your 3 o'clock is ready. Melissa, my lead therapist, appears in the doorway, clipboard in hand. It's Mrs. Abernathy's final session. Perfect, I say and mean it. The waiting room hums with conversation. Patients settle into comfortable chairs under framed community service awards. My original business license hangs among them like a proud ancestor. Our new patient waitlist is 2 months long. Not because we chase volume, but because we do the work right. In the treatment room, Mrs. Abernathy beams as I walk in. She's small and wiry, spine bent by decades of labor, eyes bright. There she is, she announces. The miracle worker. I laugh, setting her chart aside. The miracle was you doing your homework. Nonsense. She waves a spotted hand. My grandson says you're the best in Denver, and that boy researches everything. As we move through her last set of exercises, I catch my reflection in the mirror. My shoulders aren't hitched up near my ears anymore. My stance has changed. I occupy more space. Later, I gather 3 new grads around the conference table, fresh from PT school, eyes shining with the same mix of fear and hunger I once carried. The most important thing I can teach you isn't a manual technique. I tell them, perched on the table edge. It's this. Know your value. This job will ask you to give constantly. Make sure that giving is respected. After they leave, I review the latest numbers on our pro bono program. 15% of our caseload now serves patients who can't otherwise afford care. A year ago, that percentage would have terrified me. Now it feels like alignment. My phone buzzes. A text from Leah, my closest friend and the leader of our women's support circle. Ready for tonight? Your turn to share. Smiling face with smiling eyes, nerves flutter. But for the first time I think maybe I'm ready. To tell the whole story. Family boundaries, all of it. Before I head out, I check email. Mom has sent photos of herself at a community garden. Hair tied back, hands in the soil. It's her third message this week that doesn't ask for anything. Tiny steps. Real ones. There's also a jaunty message from Autumn, forwarding a job announcement. Her first steady role in a corporate office, unconnected to my clinic. Fewer exclamation points than usual. A different kind of growth. That evening, Leah's dining room hums with voices and clinking dishes. Unlike my parents' carefully staged dinners, this table is messy and alive. Food passes from hand to hand. Stories overlap. Laughter bursts out, unrestrained. To Sierra, Melissa says, raising her glass from across the table, who showed us that protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. Warmth washes through me as glasses chime. We talk late into the evening about patients, promotions, pay negotiations. About the scholarship I started for PT students from tough backgrounds. About the boundary setting workshop I'm leading next month. About tomorrow's launch of our new vestibular rehab program. After dinner, I step onto Leah's back porch. The mountains loom against a deepening sky, dark and solid. Unapologetically themselves. You look peaceful, Leah says, coming to stand beside me. I say, surprised by how true it feels. I finally understand I can help people heal without sacrificing myself. Tomorrow morning, I'll guide an elderly man through his exercises with the same care I once poured into family appointments. The difference is, he'll look me in the eye and say thank you, and I'll know he means it. I'm Sierra Bennett. I whisper toward the mountains, the city, the life I built. And I heal people who value the healing.